everyone. So, welcome to Perspectives by Jackie. I want to share a little bit with you what the whole idea of this project is. So, I've been blessed to have so many people crossing my life and being part of my story. And there are so many amazing stories that I've been listening to throughout my life. And a lot of them because of my work as a family therapist, a lot of them because of my work as coach, executive coach, life coach, a lot of them as my experience as a psychology instructor, a lot of them as just being a friend. And I thought that it would be interesting to just share some of those stories to other people, like you that you're watching right now. So I thought it would be very fair to begin the video sharing about one thing that is a very important part of my story, about my life, and something that I haven't shared with many people, really. So I thought about the first video then, and I don't know if I would even call this the first video, but an introduction to the project, to the Perspective project. And I thought about starting, being fair, and start with my own perspective, talking about life and death. So before I start the story, let me just tell you where I'm at. I am just in Moline, and this is the Mississippi River just behind me. And Moline is a small city in Illinois, and it's very close to the border, Illinois-Iowa. And this is the first place that I came when I came to live in the U.S. So this place has a special spot in my heart. And it's interesting because I had some other people that enjoy the Mississippi and so many other stories involving the Mississippi that I'll probably share with you in the future as well. So what I want to share with you today, as I mentioned, I think the idea of creating perspectives is to talk about life and talk about experiences. And I think for me especially, when I think about life, I think about death, because I think those things are so together. And I also think it's because of an experience that I had when I was only 18 years old, and that's what I want to share with you today. So this is a very personal experience. Very few people know about this. I've shared this in the class that I teach. I teach a class in psychology on death and dying, so that's something that I've shared with some of my students. I share this story with some of my clients who are in situations that they are fearing death because of serious diseases or accidents or situations like that. But I think this story ends up empowering so many people, and it is an empowering story that I remind myself, I think, daily. And it makes me look at life from a very different angle. So what happened was when I was 18, and I'm just gonna go through the story with you. When I was 18, I had a very serious condition, a health condition. So I'll just go through the process, how it happened. So I was in the morning at home, and I started feeling very weird on that morning. Well, in fact, it's interesting, like the day before that morning, I felt odd. I used to live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and in fact in Niterói, it's a city close to Rio, and I was crossing a bay that we call Guarabara Bay by boat, by ferry boat, and I talked to a couple of my friends. I was feeling strange. It's just a very weird feeling, not necessarily, not pain, but very strange. So the following morning, I felt very strange. I felt there was something strange with my energy. And then I went to work. And while I was working, I used to work in an English school and working as a secretary in the morning, and I would teach in the evenings. But while I was working, I started feeling this excruciating pain. It was something that I cannot really describe. So I would just bend my body, because just by standing like straight, the pain was so intense I couldn't handle the pain. So I would just bend myself and be there. So So the only thing that I could do was just to get the phone and call my mom that she used to work very close from the location and tell her, Mom, I'm dying. I knew that I was dying. And at that point, my mom came straight to the place where I was at. She told me it took no more than 10 minutes. In my mind, you know how time is so psychologically variable, I would say. It took, in my mind, forever for her to arrive. I thought I would be dead by the moment she got here. So it's interesting because at that point, all my senses were completely enhanced. I could hear louder, I could smell stronger, and I remember the strong smell of the man my mom asked. There was someone moving furniture on the floor, and my mom just asked that person to lift me and put me in the elevator, carry me to the taxi so we could go to the hospital. So arriving at the hospital, I'm not going to go into lots of details about the situations, but arriving in the hospital, it was a public hospital in Brazil, in Niterói. So I was in an emergency room, sharing space with lots of people who came from accidents and all types of things. And the doctors didn't have a clue what was happening to me. Didn't have a clue. And I think that was a very stressful moment in my life because I knew I was going to die if no one did anything. So I remember being sweaty. I was sweating so much that I just took off my clothes, and my mom was literally like twisting, and then there was like sweat dripping. It was insane. And but there was one doctor that I would never forget him, and I found him, and I decided to contact him after so many years, after more than 30 years. And he looked at me and he said, okay, I want you to tell me what happened, exactly what happened. And I was cursing, I was really mad, but I told him, okay, I'll tell you what happened. And he said, I think you have perforated ulcer. I'll have to check. It's going to be painful because we need you to stand up for an x-ray, but I'll take care of you. So I think just listening to those things were very, very relaxing at that very crazy moment. And I told him, I feel I'm dying. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So what happened was I needed to be in surgery. And lots of things happened, as I mentioned. I'm not going to go into every detail here in the movie, but what happened was when I was ready to enter the surgical room for emergency, there were some other people coming because of an accident, and a woman came that she was completely broken. It was just very difficult for me to be right there at the hall and see that person coming. And they said, Jacque, you have to wait. We have to do her surgery before. And I couldn't believe that, you know. So it ends up that this woman, just after a couple of minutes, she passed away. She couldn't make it, and they came in a hurry to get me to enter the surgical room. So what happened there is that they almost lost me, and I had no idea what had happened. I knew after, when I was talking to one of the doctors, and he explained what happened. So they had to resuscitate me. And I had one of the near-death experiences that I never thought that that was something possible to happen. So some of those things that we hear and we read and people talk about, light and the tunnel and all those things, that's real. That's and I cannot say real reality because the way we perceive life is our reality. But the experience I had was to see this bright light, extremely bright, and I felt the presence. I couldn't see my grandpa, but I felt the presence of my grandpa kind of here, and then I could remember it, but there was a sense of remembering him touching me. And one of my cousins who died when he was a kid, I could feel him on the other side. It was kind of like feeling these presences. beautiful bright light. It was just so incredible and powerful. So some people mention about the tunnel or something. I didn't see any tunnel. I didn't see these things. I just saw the bright light. And then I also saw kind of like the surgical room. But it was not from the laying position. I saw that as if I was just above the whole situation. I saw some people kind of in a hurry, and it was just strange because for me, I couldn't really recognize that that person was me. It was like there was that situation, but I could kind of see other things also. And I was very puzzled at that moment. It was very complicated in my mind to try to make sense of something that was completely nonsense. It didn't have any sense. What was very amazing, I think, it was that I couldn't feel anything other than this deep joy, this deep love, and it's not, I can't describe with words because it's just a beautiful feeling. I still get emotional when I think of it, because it's just deep, deep. So when I was coming back, and well, after I came back and I was able to survive, there was a situation, the after surgery situation, that the doctors were not sure if I was going to make it. And it was just like the hospital was packed and the ICU was packed, and the people that they kind of questioned what was going to happen next, they put all together in a room. I think there were 5 of us. But just after the surgery, I had the post-surgery room, and they didn't know if I was going to survive after that period of time in the room. So they just allowed 2 people to come in to see me, that it could be the last people that would have contact with me. So my grandma and my mom were these people that came, and I remember just the voice of my mom holding my hand. I couldn't feel her, but she was saying, "I'm touching you, and if you can hear me, just move your finger. Give me a sign that you can hear me." And I couldn't move my finger. I couldn't move anything in my body. I had zero control over anything. I could hear. That was the only thing I could do. And my grandma is when she was touching my feet and saying, "Oh my gosh, her feet are cold." And my mom's like, "Yeah, it's kind of like that, Mom." And but she wanted me to be comfortable. She was like, "We need to buy socks for her. She needs to be comfortable." And my mom's like, "I'm not leaving here. I'm not leaving her alone here. I'm staying here." And Grandma was like, "I'm staying here too." And they're holding my hands. And I think if I think about love, and I think about what matters in life, I really think about a moment. I think it doesn't matter anything other than love. It doesn't matter anything other than the people we love, and other than experiencing this connection. So I'm very grateful they were there, because honestly I think that it was a very powerful situation for me. I think that when I think today about the whole experience, there is a part that's very odd, is that before that, when I was having the whole experience of, seeing the light and looking down and all that stuff, lots of things came to my mind. And even before that moment, when I was there before the surgery, I had flashback of so many moments in my life, and I remember the people that I cared about. I thought of my uncle playing with me with his beard on my face, or my father kissing my elbow and saying that it was a little piece of bread, and so many cute things that were together in that huge wave of beautiful thoughts and memories that I had in my life. People that had so many tiny little moments that were important for me. So, but one crazy thing that happened, and I think it's odd but crazy, is that I thought in a moment, oh my gosh, I've never had an orgasm and I want to be a mother, so I cannot die. So if I think, it took forever for me to tell my mom that, of course, you know, when I'd say, Mom, I think I came back because of you, or I came back because I've never had an orgasm. Oh. But I think more than, oh, having an orgasm is not the point, was I really wanted the experience of motherhood. I wanted to live longer. I know I wanted to experience other things. So, and I did. So I'm very thankful today. I have 2 daughters and I'm a grandmother. So I think it's a blessing. And I think what I took from that experience is that I every single day stop for a minute to think about what I'm grateful for. I do stop every day in the morning, and during the day, it's not only in the morning. When I wake up, it's always great, because when I was at the hospital, it was so hard for me because I couldn't sleep at night. It was in so much pain. It was very bad. They didn't know if my stomach or intestine was going to work after the surgery. It was a very complex situation, but I'm grateful, and I do honestly live one day at a time. I look at all the things that are happening around me, and I'm grateful for this little rock that I'm here now, and that can relax me while I'm talking to you and bringing those thoughts. And I'm grateful that I have kids that are happy. I'm grateful that I'm making this video and I can help you. If it's one person that's watching, and if after watching this you're gonna call your mom, your grandma, or someone you love and say, hey, I love you, let's have a good moment together. Or you just look and see your husband or your wife or your partner, whomever, and just say, oh my God, why am I having this argument? What the heck? Why do people argue? That's so stupid. You know, so just choose to have a beautiful life. It's in your hands. It's literally in your hands. Like, most things depend on us, nobody else, to transform situations into a beautiful and powerful experience. Okay, so my message to you today is live your life with love, love, love. Love yourself first, and be grateful.